And here we are, Nemesis number 4 in 2024's NemeSeptember, and we're revisiting a mold that I have looked at previously. I used to own the Ultra Magnus version of this, and this is Q Transformers or QT Nemesis Prime. Just like Ultra Magnus, this is great, but unlike Ultra Magnus, this is actually better because the paint job on this is great and more stuff is picked out and it just looks great, and also it's Nemesis Prime. It is this adorable little Nemesis truck that rolls pretty well, and it's painted nicely. The trailer is gray. You've got this nice turquoise, like metallic stripe. The wheels are all just black plastic, but the pins are silver, which make them stand out. There's also all the paint around the front with the red windows, the metallic-y blue trim, that blue metallic-y stripe that goes around the side a little bit. I do think is probably better to have it cut off here, but I like that they went around the side so it at least carries over. And it does kind of get cut off by the wheel well, but I think that's just because of the design. But then you also have like the silver for the bumper and the grille and the yellow for the lights, and it looks really good. The only thing that really bums me out about this is I wish they had done the red for the side windows. They did not. And you can also see the Autobot logo molded in there, so yeah, this is definitely Optimus Prime, but molded, or rather recolored to be Nemesis. Yeah, this is a cute little thing. The detailing is nice. There is a lot of nice little molded detail in it. I just wish, I don't even need anything else painted on the side here. I just wish they had done those side windows in red, but they had to draw the line somewhere. And when we get to robot mode, I feel like if the choice was between some of the paint they added for the robot mode or the side windows, I do think it's better that they prioritized the robot mode. I don't know that they did. I'm just saying if that's what resulted in it. But yeah, that's kind of all I can say. It's a squished up tractor trailer truck. It looks like a chibi-fied Optimus Prime truck in black, so Nemesis Prime. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And it is tiny. I was zoomed in all the way for that. It is a tiny figure. For anyone who is unfamiliar with QT Transformers, well, here is Buzzworthy Dinobot and Ova Prime and Samus. He is a small bean. Not Micro Machine size, but definitely small. And bring in, whoops, I knocked over Ova Prime, that's fine. Here he is with Velocitron Burnout, and you know, he is absolutely dwarfed by a deluxe. So, as I said, small. We'll bring in Core Class Nemesis Prime. He's actually noticeably smaller than Core Class Nemesis Prime. And way smaller than Siege Nemesis by a very not insignificant margin. And just for the heck of it, bring in Legacy Scourge, much, much smaller than Legacy Scourge, even without the trailer, which I do think is kind of fun and cute how this guy even includes the trailer, but he's still so small. And because I do still have this guy, and I don't ever plan to get rid of him, we'll look at the other QT Transformer I have, and that is Starscream. And oh my gosh, these are adorable. They are so adorable together. Oh, I love it. And finally, for our most important size comparison, here is QT Nemesis Prime with the duck tank. Now, before we take all of like 10 seconds to transform this guy, well, I guess maybe 30 seconds with instructions. If you like this video, any of the videos that I've done on the channel, or want to see more NemeSeptember in the future, I do have a Ko-fi or Patreon, links to both at the end of the video as well as down in the description. Otherwise, you could always do the typical YouTube thing of like, comment, share, subscribe. Now, to turn this into Nemesis Prime, it is the same transformation as Ultra Magnus, if you are familiar with Ultra Magnus. If not, well, here we go. So, I'm going to separate the trailer. It just separates into two halves, and that includes the smokestacks. These swing out on a hinge and a ball joint. You can see the ball joint in there. So these swing out. Then you can rotate these chunks down on those ball joints. And oh, look at that. Now they're arms. We'll just leave them up like that. I'm going to take this piece back here, which I think it's kind of cool that they molded this in. So this could work as like a standalone trailer with, or truck cab without the trailer, except then he wouldn't have arms. But anyway, you bring this up, and this little tab here will push against this other section here and start to push the head up. And you can push that up, and you can push it up all the way, but I'm going to pull this up manually and get that all taken care of. And then for the legs, just want to grab here and grab the bumper and pull down. And that comes down another ball joint and ball joint joint this time. And there we go. That is it. There we have QT Nemesis Prime in robot mode. And he is a little awkward looking, but also adorable, and I love him. He is precious. You don't really get any new detail for the most part, because it's just truck pieces are now robot. But you do get a little bit of new detail here and the head, and then like the joints for the thighs, I guess. Yeah, this is a definitely stylized but very cute rendition of Optimus Prime and by extension Nemesis Prime, or vice versa. Now the thing I was talking about before with the paint, they painted the fists, so they're this like silver color, and I prefer the idea of those being painted versus the side windows. The side windows would have been nice, but having those fists painted I think is essential, even if it's not technically accurate. But like what about this is really accurate? He's got truck feet, but like the thing, because like Ultra Magnus, the problem with Ultra Magnus was the arms on the inside were just blue plastic. That was it. So while the arms were sculpted, it wasn't super easy to tell that that's what those were, even with the positioning on the figure. Here, since the fists are actually painted in, it makes that detail stand out a lot more. It really does help to make this look like this is a little robot standing there trying to look all tough. And it is just fantastic and adorable, and I love it. The only real gripes I have about this when it comes to like being a tiny figure is it's not much. And I mean, a lot of it is it's super deformed, it's simple. So this is just like it would have been nice if type stuff. This is not genuine, like this is what I would consider a criticism of the toy, because for what it is, I don't think there's a way they could have done this. But like this truck cab does stick out really far, and I don't know how they could have potentially done it, but I kind of feel like maybe if there was a way to have the arms and the head sit, well, the arms, head, and hips, if like all that stuff sat a little bit more towards like the center of this mass rather than towards the back, I think that would help to make this not look like whatever's going on here. But again, like small thing, and it is not a mark against this toy at all. This is a wonderful little thing for what it is. The head, I cannot zoom in any further, I'm sorry, but I can bring him a little closer. The head is a Optimus Prime in black with a silver faceplate and red eyes. It is an angry little Nemesis Prime head, and it is perfect. I love it. It's sculpted well, painted well, and it looks good. It kind of cuts off a little bit at the back, but that's just, because of the nature of this whole deal, because that panel sits a little bit far forward, and just it's a QT transformer, So for articulation, the head is on a swivel, as you saw, so it can rotate all the way around. The shoulders are on ball joints, so they can rotate around and come out, though the kibble does kind of get in the way from certain angles. You can use this as a sort of butterfly joint, and you can also use this to kind of shift the arms forward if you want, but you don't get any elbows or anything like that because it's all just one piece. There is no waist articulation because there's no waist. And you get hips in there. Let's get these out of the way, where the hips can go out that far. It's like that is as far out as they go. And then they can rotate. And you get, I guess, what technically counts as a knee. So you can kind of have him stepping forward and doing like a, I don't know, like a Nemesis Prime pose, like an action-y pose, kind of. But because of how all of this works, it doesn't really read that way. For the most part, you're just going to have him, like this, and do stuff with the arms, maybe rotate the head, but that's pretty much it. Which is fine. For what this is, that is totally fine. And he is just so cute and fun. And once again, small. He is a tiny fellow. He is slightly taller in robot mode than he was in vehicle mode, but not enough for it to matter. We'll bring in Dinobot and the fallen Ova Prime and Samus. Like, he is so small, so adorably tiny. And get these out of the way. Actually, just because I have him here, let's bring in one of the MicroMasters that I have on hand, because Siege Prime carries these guys around. So yeah, you can see he is shorter by like a not insignificant amount than a MicroMaster. Granted, it's an Earthrise, I think Earthrise MicroMaster, but still. Don't forget Burnout. So areas with Burnout. Burnout is way bigger. She absolutely towers over QT Nemesis Prime. Let's see. Here is Core Nemesis Prime. And again, the core is way bigger. Like the QT figure doesn't even come up to the core figure's waist. That is ridiculous, but in a way that I love. And we'll bring in the Siege figure. And he almost comes up to Siege Prime's knee. Well, maybe not almost. He's like halfway up the shin. And because we looked at him before, let's bring in QT Starscream. And there are the two tiny QT boys. They are tiny, and they are just the best. I do have to say, as much as I enjoy this Nemesis Prime, and he is precious, and I will keep him for as long as I possibly can, I still think of the two of them, Starscream is the better option. Just because there's a little more to the transformation. There's not necessarily more to the articulation, but I feel like even though Starscream has less articulation, you get more out of it. Because with Nemesis, it's basically just a whole bunch of truck chunks and trailer chunks that are moving around. Whereas Starscream, you have clearly defined legs and clearly defined arms. So yeah, I think Starscream pulls it off a little bit better, and you also get much more robot stuff revealed. Because really with Nemesis, it's the head and the arms that are sitting inside of the trailer pieces. With Starscream, you get the head, the arms, and the legs. So yeah, I think he is the more successful figure, but they're both still incredibly precious, and I love them both. And finally, most important of all, here is QT Nemesis Prime with the duck tank. And that does it for QT or Q Transformers or whatever Nemesis Prime. This guy it's still funny to me that I have to zoom all the way in for him to fill even like a decent amount of the screen. This guy is great. He is very simple, very basic in terms of like being an action figure and with the engineering, but he's wonderful. It's cute and stylized, and I love it. And I would have liked a little bit more paint in a couple of places, but there is a lot of really nice paint on this guy. Like, I love that the trailer is all silver with that metallic blue stripe. I really like the paint of the fists because now it actually reads as arms. It's just, those side windows would have been nice. And also, because of the nature of this, I feel like this may be, I could be wrong, but I feel like this is an earlier mold from the QT line, and Starscream kind of feels like it came later, like after they kind of refined things a bit. I could be wrong, but it kind of feels like that. But I feel like if this wasn't an earlier option, like an earlier figure in the line, then it may have been able to benefit more from some other different touches that might make it look even more like a cute but still recognizable black repaint of Optimus Prime. But whatever. I'm not mad about it at all. Just things I'm noticing. But anyway, that's enough about what I think. What do you all think of this tiny little fellow here? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. Thank you everybody for watching, and as of this recording, we still have 5 Nemesis Primes left to look at this month. 5. I have so many Nemesis Primes.